Is there anything better than a Trump rally? What about a sleepy Joe Biden rally?
All right, President Trump at a massive rally in New Hampshire back in August. It seems like a thing of the past, but those rallies could be making a comeback. According to Politico, the Trump campaign is eyeing a return to the mega rallies he was known for before the pandemic forced people to social distance and shelter in place. Joining us to discuss, Amber Athey, the Washington editor of Spectator USA, and Terry Schilling, a conservative commentator. Good morning to you both. It's been months since we saw a really big rally from the president. Obviously, so much has happened in between, but let's be realistic here. They're probably going to look a bit different in the era of COVID-19. Amber, what changes do you think we'd see? Would they still have the same effect?
It's a great question. My guess is they will probably try to seat people a certain distance away from one another. But Trump's rallies are extremely popular on television as well. Granted, some of the cable networks have decided not to air them anymore, particularly CNN and MSNBC. But they still get pretty good play on places like Fox News, Newsmax, One America News, and that's where a lot of the base watches these. The real detriment here is for Joe Biden, who has been lucky enough to be able to have all of his gaffes be on a 2,000-person live stream instead of on national cable television. And just the other day, he decided that his big nickname that he came up with for the president was going to be President Tweety, which is embarrassing and cringe to say the least. But people are not noticing a lot of Biden's gaffes now because they are online from his basement rather than broadcast to the entire world.
Yeah, it's definitely altered the traditional campaigns that we've seen in the past. Terry, these rallies that we're talking about, President Trump specifically, they aren't often broadcast on mainstream media outlets. Maybe the highlights are if something controversial was said. They are packed with people, of course, that's clear. But those people, they are his base. They're his strong supporters and almost guaranteed to vote for Trump in November. So what does the president really gain politically by having these rallies?
Well, you'd actually be surprised at the type of people that come to these rallies. I know that the Trump campaign themselves have done a lot of studies on the people that when they give their cell phones, they're able to collect a lot of data on them. There are a lot of Democrats, there are a lot of working class people. This is the way that Trump gets his message out directly to the people. And one of the most powerful things that you can do in a campaign is get the word of mouth going. Television ads and earned media, all of that, it's really important. And it sways voters, but there's nothing like the word of mouth and having friends tell other friends what they heard or saw at a Trump rally, and then bring those other friends to the next Trump rally when it comes around. It's a very powerful way to grow a grassroots movement, and I think that's why Trump has always shocked people when it comes to politics.
Well, yeah, you compare one of those rallies to what Joe Biden has been hosting recently, as Amber mentioned. It's just stark contrast there. And so we want to talk about Joe Biden. He is making some headlines right now, and some are wondering if the Me Too movement is officially dead. Here's what Joy Behar from The View said about those allegations against Joe Biden. Listen to this.
Another issue that I would like we're in the middle of this Tara Reade accusing Biden of sexual assault. Are we supposed to believe her just because she's a woman? To me, if you say, I believe any woman who makes any accusation, if you say that, I think it minimizes our credibility as women.
And we do want to remind you what she said during the Kavanaugh case. Listen to this.
These people in Congress right now, in that Senate Judiciary Committee, these white men, old, by the way, are not protecting women. They're protecting a man who is probably guilty. If you're not Judge Kavanaugh, take the lie detector test. Yeah. Prove it the way she did and the way Anita Hill did.
All right, the show's called The View for a reason. Those are her views. But Amber, are we surprised to hear the different response based on who's being accused at this point?
No, of course not. There's always been a double standard for Republicans who are accused of sexual misconduct versus Democrats who are accused of sexual misconduct. And for many people, particularly conservatives, the Me Too movement died back during that Kavanaugh confirmation hearing. But to be clear, now the left is actually trying to gaslight the right into believing that Believe All Women was actually never their tagline. They're claiming that conservatives came up with that as a means of attacking them. But if you go back and search for the Believe All Women hashtag. You'll find plenty of Democratic politicians tweeting about it. You even have Hillary Clinton saying that women deserve to be believed, as she was notorious for attacking her own husband's accusers. So this is a hypocrisy that has been evident for a long time now. It just took the big highlight of Joe Biden for people to start to realize it.
I mean, during the Kavanaugh hearings, Joe Biden himself said women should be given the benefit of the doubt here. Terry, we'll bring you into the conversation. Your response to seeing how this all played out on The View, and of course, keep in mind that's kind of the show's whole shtick.
Well, look, the thing is that it's been very apparent to anyone paying attention that it was never about sexual assault claims. The claims that Christine Blasey Ford had come up with were incredibly unbelievable and not backed by anything. Even the people that she cited that would back her up disavowed her comments and said that they had no idea what she was talking about. It was never about protecting women from sexual assault. What it was about taking out Kavanaugh, who was a pretty flawless candidate. I mean, he had a sterling record, had great marks, had no real trouble, and they had to come up with something that they could use to skewer him. And unfortunately, they put millions of women's testimonies and millions of women's credibility on the line and put a lot of doubt into people and made it seem like some women will make this stuff up for political purposes.
Well, the Trump campaign is launching its own women's talk show. It's called The Right View. It'll air Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., hosted by the president's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, former Fox News host Kimberly Guilfoyle, Mercedes Schlapp, and Katrina Pearson. Amber, do you think this is going to do well? Do you think there's a market here for people tuning in to hear what these more conservative voices are saying?
Potentially, but I think the fact that this is explicitly a Trump campaign effort, I think, is going to nullify a bit of the reach. Granted, the Trump campaign has been doing these online webinars for quite some time now, appealing to different groups like Catholic voters or veterans. And the truth is these types of events just don't really get that much play. It's not a huge platform that people want to go on to watch these webinars, which are actually usually pre-recorded anyway. They're not usually done live. So it's just not something that's super appealing to voters. It's going to be much better for the president when he's able to get back out and rally again.
All right. That's Amber Athey and Terry Schilling. Thank you both so much. We appreciate it.